Okay, hello guys. We're going to do a reading lesson on visualizing. So remember, to visualize is for you to create an image as you're reading a story. So you understand what you are reading. So you imagine what you are reading. So as we read today's text, as you follow along with me, we read it together. Try to visualize what's going in the story. I'll visualize myself to model it, but I want you to do it as well. Okay, so this is the stray dog. Quan was in his neighborhood walking home from the bus stop when a medium sized dog came running up to him. Quan bent down for a closer look. The dog was a big, fluffy ball of dirt and had no tags. Quan's neighborhood was small, and he knew no one had a dog like this. There was no doubt about it. The dog was a stray. So, as I'm reading this, I can imagine this dog coming up. So, it says here that it was a big, fluffy ball of dirt. So it's a big fluffy ball of dirt, so a big dog. And he came running at him, and Quan is just like, oh, what a cute dog, or like, nice dog. Let's continue, line 65. The dog followed Quan all the way to his front door. Quan picked up the dog and walked inside. The dog felt like a huge sack of marbles in Quan's arms, as Quan walked into the kitchen. His father was there pouring orange juice into a glass. He took one look at Quan and the dog and nearly dropped the glass. So, again, here I'm visualizing again. It says here the dog felt like a huge sack of marbles. But a sack of marbles isn't that big. So maybe this dog isn't as big. Makes me think, is this dog big or small? Why is he saying a big? Well, it says like a huge. Oh, well, it says huge. So maybe it is big. So a huge sack of marbles. So maybe I imagine Quan carrying this dog in his arms, like a huge sack of marbles. Continuing on 126. You can't keep it, Quan, his father said. I know, Dad, said Quan, putting the dog down on the floor. But he's definitely a stray, and I really want to help him. The dog immediately ran over to the kitchen door, where Quan's dad kept a pair of running shoes. The dog took both shoes in his mouth and ran back over to Quan and plopped the shoes down in front of him. Just then, Quan's mom walked in. Oh, so I can imagine this dog seems to be trained or like knows what to do. It says here that the dog immediately ran over to the kitchen door where Quan's dad kept a pair of running shoes. The dog took both shoes in his mouth and ran back to Quan and plopped the shoes down in front of him. So it seems like this dog knows what to do with things or how to like help people. Let's continue on 205. I guess he likes shoes, she said. Why don't you take him to Uncle Bay's and see if he wants the dog? She looked at Quan pointedly and said, he gets so few visitors. Quan took the hint. So here I can see, or I can imagine, visualize, the way Quan's mom is looking at him. So it says that she looked at Quan pointedly and said, he gets few visitors. So she's kind of telling him, hey, you should take him to him. He hardly gets any people to visit him, barely few visitors. Okay, let's continue on the next page. Let me see. Let me import it. Oops. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let me make our text bigger. Okay. So continuing. Okay, I'll go see Uncle Bay, said Quan. He grabbed an old belt from the closet to use as a leash and walked out the door. Uncle Bay was Quan's least favorite relative. He was about as warm as a block of ice. He was never happy and would sometimes yell at Quan for no good reason. As a young man, Uncle Bay had been in the army and had his vision severely damaged, so that now he could barely see. So I see how they're describing here Uncle Bay. It says, first of all, it says he was as warm as a block of ice. So he's really not warm. He doesn't seem to be like really affectionate, like hugging or like being nice to people. It says he was never happy and would sometimes yell at Quan for no good reason. So he's kind of like a mean person, okay? But we also find out that a reason he might be this way is when he was young, he had been in the army and his vision was severely damaged. So maybe this is what's making him feel a bit like angry or upset with people. Okay, let's continue. When Quan reached his uncle's house, he rang the bell. Come in, his uncle called from inside the house. Quan walked into the living room with the dog, saying, Hi, Uncle Bay, it's me, Quan. His uncle was sitting in an easy chair, frowning. So I can just picture right now the Uncle Bay just like they're like upset or just not caring for anything. It says here, his uncle was sitting in an easy chair, frowning. So maybe he's like upset or something. So he's really not a happy person. Let's see, let's continue. Let me import it on the next page. Hold on. So let's look at the rest of the text. Okay. So this stray dog followed me home this afternoon, and we thought you might like to keep him. The dog walked right up to Uncle Bay and wagged his tail, as if he understood Quan perfectly. What am I going to do with a dog? Said Uncle Bay angrily. Get him out. But first, get my shoes from my bedroom. Sorry, get me my shoes from my bedroom. So again, we see how Uncle Bay is described. It says here, we picture it. It says, Uncle Bay angrily, and then he yells out, get him out, but first get me my shoes. So he's demanding. He's not even saying please. He's not minding his manners. Quan looked at the dog knowingly and smiled. He walked the dog back into Uncle Bay's bedroom and brought him to the pair of shoes. He took the leash off, and the dog grabbed the shoes in his mouth and ran back to Uncle Bay. He plopped the shoes right in Uncle Bay's lap. Uncle Bay's face lit up like the sun. It was the first time in a while that Quan had seen his uncle smile. He looked over at Quan and said, So, what should I name him? I just noticed and picture that maybe, or how Uncle Bay was like all mad, and then he sees how this dog is, and his face changed. He's like happy now. And ways I know this, or that I was able to visualize this, it says here that it was the first time in a while that Quan had seen his uncle smile. So again, I'm picturing Uncle Bay here, like at first just frowning there, like mean, and now he's happy because his dog is there. Okay, so we have a few questions that go with this text. So let's look at them. Okay, so our first question. So here it is. What is the main problem Quan faces in the story? So thinking back at the story, what is the problem in this story? What does Quan need to do, or what does Quan find, and that's a problem? So we think back at the story, we know that he's walking down the street in his neighborhood and he finds a stray dog. Now he takes the stray dog to his house, but he soon finds out that they don't want really the dog there. They want to take him somewhere. So he doesn't know what to do with this stray dog. So we could write here, remember, we're going to answer in a complete sentence. So the main problem is that Quan finds a stray dog, but doesn't know what to do with it. So that's the problem. He doesn't know what to do with this stray dog. Now, what does Quan's mom ask him to do in paragraph 5? Let's see. Let's go back to paragraph 5. And so I need to label my paragraphs to know which paragraph I'm referring to. So let me label it. Let me see. Let's grab a purple. Okay. So I know that this right here, this is paragraph 1. This right here is paragraph 2. This little one right here is paragraph 3. This one right here is paragraph 4. And so this section right here is paragraph 5. So we're going to look at paragraph 5, and it says here, I guess he likes shoes, she said. Why don't you take him to Uncle Bay's and see if he wants the dog? She looked at Quan pointedly and said, he gets so few visitors. Quan took the hint. So looking at this, what is Quan's mom asking him to do? She's asking him to take the dog to Uncle Bay, right? Maybe he can keep it, or give the dog to Uncle Bay. So let's respond with them. So Kwan's mom asks him to take the stray dog to Uncle Bay. Okay. And now, what is the solution to Kwan's problem? So again, the problem is that he had found a stray dog and he doesn't know what to do with it. Mom suggests that he take the dog to Uncle Bay. So the solution, what is the solution? Let's think. What happens at the end? Well, we know that he takes the dog to Uncle Bay, and at first Uncle Bay does not want him, but then he changes his mind because the dog helps him. So the solution the solution in the story is Kwan takes the stray dog to Uncle Bay and Uncle Bay keeps it. So Kwan, let's use a different color. Let's use orange. Kwan, oops, my A came out a little bad. Okay. Kwan takes the stray dog to Uncle Bay and he decides to keep it. Okay, so again, the solution is that Kwan takes the stray dog to Uncle Bay and he decides to keep it. So he keeps the dog. Okay, so that was our lesson on visualizing and comprehension of our story. We went over the main idea and then we also went over the solution. So problem and solution. Okay. On our next lesson, we are going to discuss genre. So types of genre, the type of genre we're going to discuss. Okay, happy learning. Thank you for paying attention. See you on the next lesson.